don't miss what's coming next, subscribe now so you never lose track of the truth that others are too afraid to tell. His son cried the first time. His mother gasped the second. And when they let him hear his wife scream, something inside Malik cracked. Not fear. Not weakness. Something older. Something buried. They had taken everything but his heart, and now they wanted that too. The gun was already in his mouth when the phone rang. He didn't answer it. He didn't need to. The sound alone told him all he had to know. They were still alive. But just barely. That was the message. 3 lives, dangling from a thread, and he was the scissors. Malik Wedigo was no stranger to pain. He'd fought terrorists in the dust storms of the north, seen men torn apart, buried friends with his own hands. But this was different. This wasn't war. This was betrayal in its purest form. He was part of the elite guard sworn to protect President Ibrahim Traoré. A man he admired. A man he'd die for. And now, he was being forced to become the blade aimed at the president's back. They didn't tell him who they were. They didn't have to. Their voices were smooth. Their words sharp. The kind of people who smiled while ruining lives. Western agents. Intelligence ghosts. They didn't offer him money. Just consequences. They knew where his family was. And every day they proved it, with pain. The syringe arrived in a hollowed-out Bible. A black velvet case, hidden behind verses. 1 jab into the tea. That was all. No taste. No scent. No trace. Just death that looked like sleep. A heart attack, they said. No questions asked. No trail. Malik stared at the needle for hours. Then he got dressed. Walked to the palace. Walked like he had nothing to hide and everything to lose. His eyes were hollow. His chest was tight. But he moved. Because if he didn't, they'd die. He passed the guards. Saluted like nothing was wrong. The velvet case pressed into his ribs like a secret burning through his uniform. The president sat alone in the courtyard, under the clear blue sky. A folder in his hands. No guards. No audience. Just him, and fate. He looked up and smiled. "You look tired, Malik." Malik nodded. "Didn't sleep, sir." Not a lie. The tray sat between them. 1 cup empty. 1 full. "Tea?" the president asked. "Good for the nerves." Malik's fingers twitched. This was it. The moment. His hand moved toward his pocket. The needle was there. Cold. Ready. But then, something shifted. The president's eyes weren't suspicious. They weren't fearful. They were calm. Trusting. And that trust cut deeper than any threat ever could. Malik swallowed. "Sir, do you ever regret it?" The president looked up. "Regret?" He paused. "No. Fear sometimes. But never regret. You can't build freedom by asking permission." Malik's hand tightened on the velvet case. That was the answer. That was the line that split the road. Even if it costs you everything, you stand. Malik stood. "Excuse me, sir," he said. "I'll be right back." The president nodded. Malik walked away fast. Then he ran. In the bathroom, he locked the door. Pulled out the syringe. And smashed it. Glass and poison spilled across the tile. That's when his phone buzzed. A message. "You failed. They die tonight." His heart stopped. But then, another message. 1 word. A name. Layan. Malik's eyes widened. A man from the past. The only one who might save his family. A ghost of shadows. A fixer. And now, their last hope. He didn't wait. He couldn't. Malik stormed out of the restroom like a man already halfway to war. The glass was still wet on his hands, the scent of broken poison lingering in the air. The hallway was too bright. The walls too quiet. His heart beat like a drum under siege. Every face he passed looked sharper. Every footstep behind him felt like a whisper of suspicion. He had no plan. No map. No weapon. Just a name. Layan. The only man crazy enough, and loyal enough, to help him. The phone buzzed again. A voice note. Deep, rough, and calm. "Where are they keeping them?" Malik ducked into a maintenance corridor, whispered back, "No idea." Calls come live. Background sounds like machinery. Metal doors. Heavy echo. Industrial zone, maybe a port. He hit send, fingers shaking. Layan had once extracted a bleeding commander from enemy hands using only a fake ID and a motorbike. If anyone could trace a whisper, it was him. But time wasn't on their side. Malik entered the surveillance room. Cameras, screens, officers, normal chaos. He sat down like nothing was wrong. Just another day. But inside, he was boiling. He stared at the monitors, saw reflections of himself. Pale skin. Tight jaw. He didn't blink. A new message came. A photo. Blurry. A dockyard. Shipping containers. Dim light. And in the corner, a scarf. White. His wife's scarf. He'd know it anywhere. His throat locked. Then another text. District 3, Port Zone. Red container. Marked 2B. You've got 6 hours. Malik stood. Stomach cramps, he muttered. No one stopped him. Outside, the sun hit his face like fire. He scanned the courtyard. Something felt wrong. A man leaned against a truck. Civilian clothes. Sunglasses in the shade. Smoking slow. Too still. Too clean. Not a mechanic. Not military. Not local. Malik knew the look. A watcher. A backup in case Malik lost his nerve. He nodded slightly, pretending he didn't see. Then walked. Slow. Steady. Toward the compound exit. His phone buzzed again. One word from Layan. Decoy. Malik turned sharply, walked toward a delivery van parked near the western gate. Something's wrong with the back axle, he told the guard. The guard looked away for just 1 second. That was all Malik needed. He yanked the van door open and slipped inside, hiding behind boxes of medical supplies. The van rolled forward. He was out. Unseen. But far from safe. He lay under a tarp, sweat soaking his shirt. Every bump in the road felt like a countdown. He gripped his phone like a lifeline. They stopped. 20 minutes. A loading dock. Malik rolled out, boots silent, heart wild. He ran. Through alleys, rusted fences, old cranes. The air reeked of salt and fuel. He found it. Red. 2B, 2 guards outside. Not locals. Weapons. Earpieces. Trained. Western. These weren't street thugs. They were professionals. Malik had no gun. Just rage. He crouched. Watched. Waited. When the pacing one turned, Malik struck. Grabbed a chain from a fence. Wrapped it around his neck. Pulled. Hard. The man flailed. Scratched. Choked. Malik held firm. No sound. Just pressure. Until silence. The second guard turned. Reached for his rifle. Malik grabbed the fallen man's weapon mid-struggle and fired. One shot. The guard dropped. Malik ran to the container. Pressed his ear to the steel. A sob. A shuffle. He found the keys on the second guard. Click. The lock opened. Inside, darkness. A hole in the wall let in one thin ray. His wife, Isla. Bruised but alive. Jamal, his son, curled against her. His mother in the corner, barely conscious. Malik dropped the rifle. Fell to his knees. "I knew you'd come," Isla whispered. He couldn't speak. He just held them. Every part of him shaking. But there was no time. He cut their ties. Isla grabbed his arm. "There's more," she said. "If you failed, they said another team would finish it. At the palace." Malik's blood went cold. A backup plan. He had been plan A. Now plan B was in motion. "We're getting out of here," Malik said, voice steady now, even if his bones were shaking. He handed a pistol to Isla. She took it without blinking. This wasn't the first time life had turned her into a soldier. Malik helped his mother to her feet. She leaned on him, fragile but alive. That was enough. For now. His earpiece buzzed. Layan's voice. "Extraction 5 minutes out. Unmarked SUV, South Alley. I'll guide them out. Are you going back in?" Malik didn't hesitate. I have to. You're not just saving them, are you? No, he said. I'm saving the only man left who believes in this country. Silence. Then Layan's voice, low and firm. Then move. Malik gave the earpiece to Ayla. Follow his voice. Don't stop. Don't look back. He kissed Jamal's forehead. Held his mother's hand. Met Ayla's eyes for one last second. Then he stepped outside with a stolen rifle, a burning heart, and a single purpose. Get back before the kill team does. Or don't come back at all. He ran. The city was alive now. Noises everywhere. Sirens in the distance. Smoke rising like a warning. He jumped a fence, pain slicing through his knees. But he didn't slow down. His phone buzzed again. 3 SUVs heading toward the palace. You have less than 20 minutes, Layan said. Malik tore off his uniform jacket, soaked in sweat, and stuffed the rifle under a cloth. He flagged down a motorbike with a single gesture. The driver hesitated, then saw his eyes. Maybe it was the fury in them. Maybe it was the urgency. Either way, he didn't ask questions. The engine roared to life. The bike cut through traffic like a blade. Red lights ignored. Horns behind them screamed into the air. The wind hit Malik's face like slaps from 1,000 ghosts. His lungs burned, but he didn't care. All he could see was the courtyard, the president sipping tea. Trusting him. That trust, it meant everything. And if it was broken, this country would shatter with it. The palace gates came into view. Malik leapt off the bike before it stopped. Captain, where to go? A guard shouted. No time, Malik barked. West Wing. Now. The gates opened. He rushed through corridors like a man possessed. Layan's voice crackled. They're inside. East entrance. Disguised as aid workers. No one stopping them. Malik sprinted to the main courtyard. Empty. Too empty. Where's the president? He shouted into the calm briefing room. Intelligence staff. Malik didn't wait. Up the stairs. Past guards who blinked in confusion. He reached the double doors, just in time to see 2 men in gray suits slipping through. They moved too clean. Too quiet. One of them turned slightly. Just enough to reveal a bulge under his jacket. Not documents. A sidearm. Malik didn't think. He acted. Stop them, he shouted. The guards froze. But the men didn't. One reached into his coat. Malik tackled him before the gun cleared. Slammed him to the floor. Elbow to the throat. Disarmed him in a blink. The second man pulled his weapon. Malik fired first. 1 shot. 1 fall. Blood on the tile. Chaos erupted. Screams. Alarms. The hallway flooded with noise. The man beneath Malik hissed, "You don't know who you're protecting." Malik leaned close. "You don't touch family. You don't touch this country." He slammed the pistol but into the man's head. Silence. Then a voice. Calm. Steady. Malik. He looked up. The president stood in the doorway. Behind him, stunned aides. Guards. Intelligence staff. All frozen. Malik stood slowly. Blood on his shirt. Weapon still warm. The president's voice was cold steel wrapped in patience. "You want to tell me what the hell is going on?" Malik exhaled. Chest rising like it had carried 100 storms. "I just saved your life, sir." The room was still. Like time had stopped to hear what he'd say next. Malik dropped the pistol onto the floor. The sound was louder than it should have been. Final. He raised both hands. "They took my family. Western operatives. No country logo. Just shadows. They knew my schedule, my home, my habits. They gave me one order, poison you or they'd kill them. One by one." His voice cracked, but he didn't stop. "They gave me a syringe. Odorless. Tasteless. Easy. Then they put a backup team in place in case I didn't go through with it." He nodded toward the men on the floor. "One dead. One unconscious. I broke protocol. Went dark. Found my family. Got them out. And came back." The air was thick. Heavy. No one moved. The president stared at Malik, unreadable. Then stepped forward and knelt beside one of the attackers. pulled a badge. Blank. No name, one of the aides muttered. Of course not, Traore said. Ghosts never carry names. He stood. Faced Malik. You should have come to me sooner. I wanted to, Malik said, barely holding himself together. But they were inside everything. I didn't know who I could trust. For a moment, the only sound was the buzz of the lights above. Then President Traoré nodded. All right? Malik blinked. Sir? The president looked at him directly. You chose honor over fear. You still saved them. That's more than I expected of any man. Malik nodded. But he wasn't done. This isn't over. If they reached me, they've reached others. There could be more of us. Compromised. Quiet. Waiting for the next order. That hit the room like a gunshot. The president turned. Red code. Lock down the compound. Nobody in, nobody out. Secure all channels. Bring me a full internal sweep report in 10 minutes. The room exploded into movement. Malik stayed still. Then the president turned back. You're not going home, he said. Malik nodded. I didn't expect to. You're being reassigned. Internal threats. Deep work. I need you where I can see you, and where they can't. Understood. The president stepped closer. Voice low. I'm sorry they hurt your family. But I promise you, they'll never touch them again. Malik didn't blink. I believe you. As the president walked away, shouting orders, Malik stood in the center of the wreckage, bleeding, shaking, but no longer uncertain. He had a new purpose now. His earpiece buzzed again. Layan's voice. They weren't the ones calling the shots. What? Malik asked. Those two? Middlemen. Just executioners. The architect is still out there. And he knows you're alive. Malik's fingers clenched. Good, he said. Let him come. 2 floors below, in a steel room humming with screens, Malik sat with intelligence officers. His knuckles scabbed. His eyes burned. On the table, satellite photos, intercepted messages, maps marked in red. Nadege, the lead analyst, tapped the screen. Partial IDs. One of them worked for a private security firm 2 years ago. The other? No record. Ghost-level clearance. And get this, implants in their arms. Self-destructed the moment they lost pulse. Malik sat back. They were never meant to return. Someone slid a photo forward. Grainy. A man in a trench coat, stepping off a private jet. Timestamp, this morning. Who is he? Malik asked. No ID. But the jet flew in from a country that claims no diplomatic ties to us. The passenger list was wiped. Only one name remains. Lyndon. Malik's gut twisted. That name. It rang like a forgotten alarm in the back of his mind. I need to see the president, he said. Not call. See him. 1 hour later, Malik stood in front of the president's private office. The guards didn't stop him. Inside, the air was still. The president didn't turn. You have something? A name, Malik said. Lyndon. That made the president turn. Slowly. That name isn't new. He walked to a drawer. Pulled out an old file. Paper yellowed. He used to work under the cover of peacekeeping. But in truth, he was a coordinator. A manipulator. Not army. Not diplomat. Just control. He moved leaders like chess pieces. Replaced the ones who refused to play. Malik stared at the file. Why isn't this in our system? Because we wiped it. Years ago. Before the coup. I thought we burned his reach with it. Malik's jaw tightened. He's back. And if he's here, it's not to finish a job. It's to erase the entire board. Traoré's voice hardened. Then we find him first. Malik stepped forward. Let me do it. The president paused. Then nodded. Find him. Stop him. And Malik, this time, don't ask for permission. Malik didn't smile. He didn't blink. He just turned and left the room with fire in his chest and one name burning in his head, Lyndon. The heat outside felt thicker than before. As if the city itself knew something dark had returned. Malik moved like a man with no weight left to carry. Only a mission. Only a name. Lyndon. The predator behind the whispers. The ghost who lit the match. In the operations room, Layan was waiting. Voice low. Sharp. I've been digging. Lyndon didn't just arrive. He's already moving. Last night, he met with someone under diplomatic cover. Civilian clothes. Immunity badge. 2 hours later, 3 military contracts in the south were cancelled. Malik leaned forward. You think he's prepping something big? No, Layan said. He's staging something. If bullets and poison failed, they'll bury it under smoke. Maybe even fake revolution. Malik didn't answer. He already knew where this was going. He wouldn't hide in a hotel, Malik said. Too soft. Too visible. Exactly, Layan replied. I tracked a car to a private clinic. Outside the city. White walls, no records, and diplomatic plates. An hour later, Malik stood outside that clinic. No sign. No cameras. Just silence wrapped in money. The kind of place that cleans up messes nobody ever talks about. But it wasn't the building that stopped him. It was the truck out back. Dusty tires. Tinted windows. Diplomatic plates. Recently parked. He didn't go through the front. He scaled a fence. Slipped in through a delivery entrance wearing forged scrubs and gloves, badge courtesy of Layan's old contacts. Inside, he moved like a ghost. The halls were cold. Clean. Silent. Then he felt it. That shift in the air. The kind that tells a man when danger is just around the corner. He turned, and there he was. Lyndon. No suit. No coat. Just a white shirt and clipboard. Calm. Forgettable. But Malik knew. Their eyes met. Lyndon didn't flinch. He walked past Malik like he didn't exist. Like they'd never shared a battlefield of silence. Malik followed. Quiet. Focused. Down the corridor. Past nurses. Past guards who didn't blink. Lyndon opened a door. Slipped into a private office. Malik entered behind him. Locked the door. Inside, the air was cold. Still. Lyndon didn't turn. You're faster than I thought, he said, pouring himself a drink. Didn't expect you to ruin the plan so early. Malik didn't answer. You didn't poison him. Pity. Would have saved everyone trouble. Malik's voice was steady. You hurt my family. Lyndon turned. Calm. Smiling. No. You did. You had an out. You chose loyalty. They paid the price. Malik stepped closer. You sent a kill team. We sent insurance. That's what smart people do. You think this is strategy? Malik growled. It is strategy, Lyndon said, still smiling. Traore's just a symbol. A story. We don't fight stories with speeches. We fight them with leverage. Malik's fist moved before he thought. Lyndon ducked. Fast. Too fast. A knife flashed. Malik knocked it away. They crashed into the desk. Papers flew. A punch to Malik's ribs. He grunted. Slammed Lyndon into a glass wall. It cracked, but didn't shatter. Blood on Lyndon's lip. Still smiling. You can't stop the wind, he hissed. Malik pressed a forearm to his throat. Maybe not, he whispered, but I can shut the window. He slammed a fist into Lyndon's temple. Once. Twice. Until the man dropped. Malik stood over him, chest heaving. His phone buzzed. Layan, he said into the mic, bag him. We've got work to do. Moments later, Layan entered the room in a courier uniform. Black gloves already on. He glanced at the unconscious Lyndon. Damn. I figured you'd talk him into a coma, not beat him there. Malik didn't laugh. He was expecting me. Like it was all part of the plan. It probably was, Layan muttered. Guys like this, they test the flame before they burn. He pulled a syringe from his case. This will keep him under long enough to move him far, far off the grid. And then? Malik asked. Then we squeeze. Every contact. Every account. We break his entire network. As Layan injected the sedative, Malik paced. Breathing tight. If Lyndon's the field guy, who's the architect? I've got a lead, Layan said. This clinic is just a shell, registered to a non-existent company. But the money behind it? That's real. And 3 days ago, a large cash transfer was made. To where? Malik asked. A local militia. Not government forces. Mercenaries. From the north. Recruited and paid. Someone's building a fake uprising. Malik's fists clenched. So this is bigger than Traore. Much bigger, Layan said. And if we don't stop it soon, it won't be fake anymore. They wrapped Lyndon's limp body in a stretcher and rolled him out like just another patient transfer. No alarms. No questions. That's how this enemy worked, hidden behind clean uniforms and forged paperwork. But now, they'd made a mistake. They bled. And that meant they could be hunted. Layan loaded the body into a black van lined with signal blockers and steel walls. I'm taking him to Site 9. He'll wake up far from his network. Malik nodded. I'm staying. There's still a storm coming, and we need boots on the ground when it hits. Layan handed him a flash drive. Everything from Lyndon's tablet. Encrypted messages. Names. Move fast. Malik watched the van disappear down the street, then turned toward the compound. His phone buzzed. He picked up. The president left for the UN summit. 15 minutes ago. They downgraded threat level. Malik stopped cold. You let him fly without clearance? It was standard protocol. That summit's a trap, Malik growled, then hung up. He ran. Through doors, down corridors. Into the command center. Patch me through to the presidential plane, now. Sir, they're already airborne. Then I don't care if they're in space. Get me on that radio. Lights blinked. Screens flared. Nadege worked the keys like her fingers were fire. They've got ghost protocol active. We need a distress override. Then send one. Let them know we're not sleeping. The connection crackled. Malik grabbed the headset. Mr. President, can you hear me? Static. Then his voice. Calm. Solid. Malik. Sir, turn around. Now. It's a setup. We have proof. Lyndon wasn't the head. He was bait. The real plan is still unfolding. Do you have confirmation? Encrypted files. Private funding trails. Hired militias. They're not trying to influence policy. They're trying to erase you from the map. There was silence. Then the president said, I believe you. Malik exhaled. Divert to a fallback. The capital's next. Already moving, the president replied. You find the roots. Dig them up. Yes, sir. And Malik, he paused. You've earned more than forgiveness. You've earned the war. The line went dead. Malik stood still, the headset slipping from his hand. Nadege spoke, militia traffic's on the move. North to south. Coordinated. Fake civil unrest, Malik said. They'll claim the country's collapsing, then call for foreign peacekeepers. Same script. Different actor, she said bitterly. Can you isolate leadership? Trying. But they're moving off-grid. Silent. Malik pulled out his phone. Dialed. One ring. Then a voice. You must be desperate. Malik smirked. You still have contacts in the north? Depends. You still have a country left to fight for? Not for long. Silence. Then, send me coordinates. I'll burn every lie they've built. Malik turned to Nadege. We're going dark. Mobilize. Shadow units only. We end this before it begins. She nodded. And if you don't make it back? Make sure that flash drive reaches the president. And tell my wife, I didn't just fight for him. I fought for us. Malik left without another word. The safe house was buried beneath an old textile plant. Steel door. No cameras. No light. Inside, Adama waited. Gray-bearded. Thick arms. Hard eyes. An old ghost from the resistance days. You brought trouble, Adama said. Malik handed him the drive. No. I brought the truth. Adama loaded the files. Maps. Names. Money trails. They've been planning this for years, he said. Militia seeds. Fake flags. Video setups. It's a civil war they're building from scratch. Can we stop it? If we move now. They rolled out in a beat-up jeep. Toward the northeast coordinates. Toward a fake rebel hub disguised as a ghost town. 2 trucks. 1 satellite dish. Guards in foreign gear. Not locals. Malik didn't wait. Rolled from the jeep. Rifle raised. They moved fast. Quiet. Efficient. 2 minutes. No survivors. Malik tore open crates. Drones. Dozens. Labeled as farm tools. Programmed for propaganda. He turned to Adama. We take this to the press? Too late, Adama said. They'll say we planted it. We need bait. Malik nodded. We let them find a fake site. Leak it. When they come to inspect, we take them alive. At dawn, they set the stage. A fake rebel outpost, just visible enough to tempt a curious mind. It worked. SUVs appeared on the ridge. Men in tactical gear. One in designer clothes. That's not Lyndon, Leon whispered through the comm, that's Damian Lyndon. His brother. Same training. Different specialty. Malik narrowed his eyes. We wait. Let him verify. Then we strike. The SUV doors opened. Damian stepped out, inspecting the site. Calm. Too calm. He bought the bait. Malik gave the signal. The explosion came from behind. Their SUV flipped. Gunfire followed. Adama's team moved in. Malik charged through smoke. Tackled Damian. Where's the real command center? Malik roared. Damian smiled, blood on his teeth. You're too late. It's not about Traore anymore. Then who? Malik growled. His replacement, Damian whispered. Malik froze. His world shifted. This wasn't just about one man. It was about all of them. Malik radioed Nadege. Find anyone in line for succession. Rank by power, movement, and hidden ties. Seconds later, she replied. One name stands out. Colonel Mori Diallo. Diallo? Malik whispered. He's loyal. Not lately. He met with foreign contractors 4 nights ago. No records. No clearance. He's in the capital. Leading a private security briefing, right now. Malik turned to Adama. We move now. And this time, we finish it.